Welcome to Truth Report. I'm Alex Truth.
And I'm Maya Clarity. Tonight, we peel back the layers on a world in flux, a landscape defined by fierce competition, shifting allegiances, and the relentless pursuit of power, from the boardrooms of global tech giants to the vast expanse of lunar orbit.
We uncover the stark realities of economic pressures impacting the world's largest markets, examine the intricate dance of international diplomacy played out on the sporting field, and scrutinize the promises and failures of governance impacting millions.
From the high-stakes race for space supremacy between global superpowers to the silent struggle for basic human dignity in crowded metropolises, our stories reveal deeper currents shaping our shared future.
Prepare for an unvarnished look at the forces at play. This is Truth Report. Our first story takes us to the heart of the global electric vehicle market, where a titan of innovation is facing a significant challenge. Reporting from Electrek, Tesla's domestic sales in China have reportedly crashed, signaling a potential shift in the world's most critical automotive battleground.
Indeed, Alex. According to figures released today by the China Passenger Car Association, or CPCA, Tesla's domestic sales in China plummeted by a staggering 45% year-over-year in January. This translates to just 18,485 units sold, marking the automaker's lowest monthly retail figure in the country since November 2022.
That's a stark decline, Maya. A 45% drop isn't just a blip, it's a seismic event for a company of Tesla's stature, especially in a market as crucial as China. What's driving this sudden and severe downturn? Is it a broader market slowdown, or something more specific to Tesla?
It's likely a multifaceted issue, Alex. While the Chinese EV market remains robust, competition from domestic manufacturers has intensified dramatically. Brands like BYD, NIO, and XPeng are offering compelling alternatives, often at lower price points and with features specifically tailored to Chinese consumers, effectively eroding Tesla's market share.
So, this isn't just about demand, but also about the strategic positioning and fierce rivalry within the EV sector. Tesla, once the undisputed leader, is now facing an onslaught from local players who are becoming increasingly sophisticated and aggressive in their pricing and product offerings.
Absolutely. Tesla's strategy of price adjustments and brand cachet is clearly being tested. The made-in-China appeal and deep integration of local tech ecosystems by competitors are powerful advantages that transcend mere vehicle specifications. This signals a mature, hyper-competitive market where loyalty is hard-won and easily lost.
When we talk about who benefits and who loses here, it's clear Tesla is taking a significant hit to its bottom line and market perception. But who gains? Are we seeing a rebalancing of power within the EV industry?
Without a doubt, Alex. Chinese domestic EV manufacturers are the clear beneficiaries. Their aggressive expansion, backed by government support and a rapidly growing domestic supply chain, positions them to capitalize on any perceived weakness from foreign brands. This isn't just about selling cars, it's about national industrial strategy.
And the consumer? Do they benefit from this intense competition, or does it lead to a race to the bottom in terms of quality or innovation?
For the short term, consumers likely benefit from a wider array of choices and potentially more competitive pricing. However, the long-term implications involve who controls the innovation narrative. If foreign players like Tesla struggle, it could consolidate power with a few large domestic players, potentially limiting future choices or fostering less aggressive innovation.
This situation connects directly to broader power structures. It's a microcosm of the intense economic and technological competition between the US and China, with industrial supremacy in critical sectors like EVs at stake. Is this a harbinger of things to come for other American tech giants in China?
It very well could be, Alex. The Chinese market is unique. It demands not just quality products but also deep cultural integration and a willingness to adapt swiftly to local preferences and regulatory landscapes. Tesla's struggles underscore that even dominant global brands are not immune to the strategic pressures of a state-backed industrial policy aimed at fostering national champions.
From the intricate world of global commerce, we shift our focus to the charged arena of international sport. A highly anticipated cricket match between India and Pakistan, a fixture often overshadowed by geopolitical tensions, is now confirmed to go ahead at the T20 World Cup. Al Jazeera reports this as a significant U-turn.
That's right, Alex. Al Jazeera's Samantha Johnson highlighted the reversal, confirming that the clash between these two cricketing giants will indeed proceed. For those unfamiliar, an India-Pakistan match is far more than just a game. It's a spectacle steeped in history, rivalry, and immense national pride, often held hostage by diplomatic frostiness.
A U-turn suggests that this fixture was, at some point, in doubt, which is not uncommon given the tumultuous political relationship between India and Pakistan. What were the likely reasons for this initial uncertainty, and what prompted the reversal?
Historically, political tensions, particularly over the Kashmir region and cross-border terrorism accusations, have led to boycotts or cancellations of bilateral sporting events between the two nations. The initial doubt would have stemmed from these unresolved issues, indicating that a significant amount of back-channel diplomacy or pressure was exerted to ensure the match happens.
This isn't merely about player schedules or logistical challenges then, is it? The decision to play, or not to play, often carries profound symbolic weight, reflecting the current state of diplomatic relations or signaling a willingness to compartmentalize politics from sport.
Precisely, Alex. The very fact that it's termed a U-turn signifies the intensity of the debate and the stakes involved. International sports bodies, like the International Cricket Council (ICC), often find themselves navigating a minefield of political sensitivities when scheduling matches involving these two nations, often prioritizing the commercial and global appeal of the fixture.
So, who ultimately benefits from this U-turn decision? Is it the fans, the players, or are there larger political entities that stand to gain from the match proceeding?
The immediate beneficiaries are undoubtedly the millions of cricket fans worldwide who crave this rivalry, and the international broadcasters and sponsors who stand to gain immensely from the massive viewership. For the teams, it's an opportunity for national glory. Diplomatically, it could be seen as a small, pragmatic step towards de-escalation, even if momentary.
And who, if anyone, loses? Is there a faction or a political stance that is undermined by the decision to allow the game to proceed?
Those who advocate for a complete diplomatic freeze or leverage sporting events to make political statements might view this as a setback. It suggests that economic and cultural soft power can sometimes override hardline political positions, at least in specific instances, which some hardliners might see as compromising national interests.
This really highlights how sport, especially cricket in the subcontinent, becomes a potent instrument of soft power and diplomacy. How does this decision connect to the broader power structures in South Asia, and the ongoing, often delicate, balance of power between India and Pakistan?
It underscores that despite deep-seated political rivalries, there's an underlying recognition of the value in certain shared cultural phenomena, like cricket. The ICC, as an international body, exerts its own form of power by facilitating these events, but the ultimate decision rests with the national boards and governments, revealing their capacity to choose pragmatism over pure political posturing for specific global events.
Turning our attention to Hong Kong, a city renowned for its glittering skyline and staggering wealth, we confront a stark reality impacting its most vulnerable citizens. The South China Morning Post reports a worrying increase in the average public housing wait time, painting a grim picture for those desperately seeking affordable homes.
That's correct, Alex. As of December, the average waiting time for a public rental flat in Hong Kong has risen to 5.6 years. This marks the third consecutive quarterly increase, climbing from 5.5 years in September and 5.4 years in June. The Housing Bureau attributes this escalating crisis to high demand for flats in urban areas, a statement that feels almost like an understatement given the scale of the problem.
A wait of 5.6 years isn't just an inconvenience, it represents half a decade, or more, of families living in often deplorable conditions, crammed into tiny subdivided flats or struggling with exorbitant private rents. What does this prolonged wait truly mean for the general applicants, the families and elderly households, struggling to get by?
It means a life of perpetual uncertainty, Alex. It impacts every aspect of daily life, mental health, physical well-being, children's education, and the ability to save or plan for the future. For the elderly, it can mean spending their twilight years in unsuitable, insecure housing, a profound failure of social welfare in one of the world's richest cities.
The Housing Bureau's explanation of high demand in urban areas feels insufficient. Is this merely a population growth issue, or are there deeper structural failures in Hong Kong's housing policies that are exacerbating this crisis?
It's undoubtedly structural. Hong Kong's land supply is finite, but the issue is compounded by a complex interplay of land speculation, high property prices, and a historical reluctance to release more land for public housing development due to commercial and political interests. High demand is a symptom, not the root cause.
So, who benefits from this chronic housing shortage, and who bears the brunt of this policy inertia?
The primary beneficiaries are wealthy property developers and large landlords who profit immensely from the scarcity of housing and the ever-inflating market values. They wield significant influence. The losers are, unequivocally, the working-class families, the single parents, and the elderly who are left with little choice but to endure these unconscionable wait times, or pay exorbitant private rents that consume the majority of their income.
This situation directly calls into question the Hong Kong government's priorities and its capacity to address fundamental social welfare needs. How does this housing crisis connect to broader power structures and the perceived autonomy or effectiveness of the local administration?
It profoundly undermines public trust in governance, Alex. The government's inability to tackle such a fundamental issue fuels social discontent and highlights a perceived disconnect between the administration and the needs of its citizens. It also raises questions about whether the housing policy prioritizes economic growth and developer interests over the welfare of its population, a recurring theme in Hong Kong's socio-economic challenges.
From the terrestrial challenges of urban living, we now cast our gaze skyward. China has just conducted a pivotal rocket test, a move that the South China Morning Post suggests puts the nation neck and neck with the United States in the escalating race to the moon.
That's a powerful statement, Alex, and it's backed by significant progress. During Wednesday's 8-minute flight from southern Hainan province, China successfully tested two critical components of its crewed lunar system, a mid-air escape of the Mengzhou crew capsule and a full launch, re-entry, and splashdown of the moon rocket's core stage.
These aren't minor achievements. A successful mid-air escape system is crucial for astronaut safety, and the full cycle test of a rocket's core stage demonstrates robust launch and recovery capabilities. According to analysts cited by the SCMP, these tests make crewed landings before 2030 a realistic goal for both nations.
Indeed. Rand Simberg, an aerospace engineer, highlighted the significance of these tests. This is a clear signal of China's accelerating ambition and capability in space exploration, moving beyond uncrewed missions to directly challenge the US in the domain of human spaceflight to the moon.
This isn't just about scientific exploration, is it? The moon race evokes the Cold War, a contest of national prestige, technological supremacy, and potentially, future resource control. What are the deeper implications of China achieving parity with the US in this arena?
The implications are vast, Alex. First, it's a massive boost to China's national pride and a demonstration of its advanced technological prowess, cementing its status as a global scientific and engineering powerhouse. Second, it fundamentally reshapes the geopolitical landscape of space, challenging decades of US dominance.
So, who benefits from China's rapid advancements in the moon race, and who might find their position threatened?
China, undeniably, benefits immensely in terms of national prestige, scientific knowledge, and potential long-term strategic advantages from lunar resources. Its domestic aerospace industry and related tech sectors also receive a significant boost. The US, while still a leader, now faces heightened competition and a clear challenge to its historical preeminence in lunar exploration, potentially needing to accelerate its own timelines and funding for the Artemis program.
This really underscores the intensifying geopolitical competition playing out beyond Earth's atmosphere. How does China's moon race connect to broader power structures and its global aspirations?
It's a direct manifestation of China's ambition to be a leading global power, not just economically or militarily, but also scientifically and technologically. Control and access to space are increasingly seen as critical for national security and future economic development. By achieving neck-and-neck status in the moon race, China is signaling its intent to shape the future of space exploration and potentially establish norms and claims on the lunar surface, a critical strategic domain.
Our final story brings us to South Asia, where democracy itself is under the microscope. In Bangladesh, vote counting has begun following what Al Jazeera describes as a landmark election, though initial reports indicate a turnout just under 48%.
That's a crucial detail, Alex. Al Jazeera reported that after polls closed, officials put the turnout at just under 48%. While landmark election often implies historical significance or a critical juncture for a nation, a turnout figure below 50% often raises serious questions about the legitimacy and representativeness of the mandate, especially in a country with a vibrant political history like Bangladesh.
A turnout of less than 48% is strikingly low for a parliamentary election, particularly given the political fervor typically seen in Bangladesh. What could this low participation indicate about the nature of this landmark election?
Low turnout often signals widespread voter apathy, but more critically in contexts like Bangladesh, it can point to an opposition boycott or a lack of public trust in the electoral process. Previous elections have been marred by allegations of irregularities and crackdowns on dissent, which might have led large segments of the population to stay home, feeling their vote wouldn't make a difference.
So, the landmark designation might not be a positive one, but rather indicative of a significant turning point in its democratic trajectory, perhaps a troubling one. Who stands to benefit from such a low voter turnout, and who are the clear losers in this scenario?
In such circumstances, the incumbent party or ruling coalition typically benefits, as their core supporters are more likely to vote, especially if the opposition has called for a boycott. This consolidates their power, often with a diminished mandate. The fundamental losers are the Bangladeshi citizens, particularly those who feel disenfranchised, whose voices were not heard, and whose faith in democratic institutions may be further eroded.
This situation raises serious concerns about democratic integrity and human rights in Bangladesh. What are the broader implications of an election with such low turnout for the nation's political stability and its standing on the international stage?
The implications are significant, Alex. Internationally, an election with such a low turnout and likely boycotts will face scrutiny and may raise questions about Bangladesh's commitment to democratic principles. Domestically, it risks further polarizing the political landscape, potentially leading to instability and ongoing social unrest, as large segments of the population feel unrepresented and voiceless. It's a precarious path for any nation.
Maya, looking at all 5 of these stories, from the economic battleground of electric vehicles to the political theater of a moon race and a contested election, a clear pattern emerges. We are witnessing a global reordering of power and influence.
Absolutely, Alex. Whether it's China challenging U.S. tech giants in the EV market, or literally racing them to the moon, or an international body navigating the complex geopolitics of India and Pakistan, the narrative is consistently one of competition and the assertion of power by rising forces.
And this competition isn't confined to the geopolitical stage. We see it manifest in the everyday lives of citizens, from the economic struggles of an American company in a vital foreign market to the crushing burden of a housing crisis in Hong Kong, where governance seems to falter under structural pressures.
The recurring theme is the increasing multipolarity of the world, where traditional hegemonies are being challenged, and new centers of power are aggressively asserting their influence. This shift is creating both opportunities and significant instability, impacting everything from national economies to individual welfare.
Whether it's the quiet erosion of democratic norms in Bangladesh, or the loud roar of a rocket carrying a nation's lunar ambitions, these stories paint a picture of a world in constant negotiation, for economic advantage, political sway, and technological supremacy.
And as investigative journalists, our role is to highlight these interwoven threads, to show how seemingly disparate events are actually part of a larger, evolving global narrative. The truth is, the world is moving fast, and the consequences of these power plays are felt by us all.
The stories we've covered tonight illustrate the relentless pace of global change. From market share to lunar landings, the competition is fierce, and the stakes are higher than ever.
It's a reminder that beneath the headlines, there are always deeper power dynamics at play, shaping our present and defining our future. Understanding these forces is the first step towards true accountability.
We'll continue to monitor these critical developments, bringing you the unvarnished truth behind the headlines.
For Alex Truth, I'm Maya Clarity. Thank you for joining us on Truth Report.